Hello EFD squad and welcome back to the UCL Roundup with me and Ginge, where we binged on European football and you voted for Tottenham versus Juve as our headline story in Turin. What happened in this glorious game of football, Joseph?
Well, the opening 10 minutes, the perfect start for the old lady. Went 2-0 up, obviously. Gonzo himself bagging a brace within 9 minutes. I think that's the fastest of any Juventus player in the history of the Champions League. The first finish was magnificent, over his shoulder. A hint of offside, but I'm glad it wasn't given because it was such a good finish at the end of the day. However, he did go on to miss that gilt-edged chance, didn't he, on the break, counter-attack. Probably should have scored that. Then he missed the penalty as well. But Juventus, not good at penalties at the moment. They've missed 3 of their last 5, so that's disappointing. But I thought Higuain's overall game was absolutely fantastic. I think he was the best Juventus player on the pitch. 4 shots, 5 dribbles, 3 key passes, a tackle. I mean, he only was dispossessed twice in the whole 90 minutes. Dele Alli, for instance, was dispossessed 5 times. Some people were labelling it a typical Gonzalo Higuain performance, aka George right behind the camera. Couldn't disagree more. Thought he was absolutely fantastic. Allegri obviously slightly altered the formation of the 4-2-3-1, mainly down to the fact he had a number of injuries. Sami Khedira actually played with an injury, didn't he? But Tottenham Hotspur, they were brilliant. They were absolutely fantastic, Hamill.
And I'm not sure how many times I've seen a side do that away from home at this stage in the Champions League against a team of the calibre of Juventus.
Yes.
Displayed a really strong mindset. Could be a seminal moment for Pochettino's Spurs. Ooh. Let's have a look at some stats then. Ultimately, they created 12 chances to Juve's 9, with 6 coming on target to the Turin side's 5. They also bossed possession, did the Lily Whites, with around 67% possession.
I think they had double the amount of passes Juventus did.
Crazy. I think we're going to move on to Dembele in a minute because he was an absolute monster in this game. But let's start with some negatives. The wing-backs weren't great in this game. Serge Aurier and Ben Davies, who have been in decent form in the league, particularly against Manchester United and Arsenal, yes. But they lost possession 6 times between them. Both got cautioned, both conceded a penalty, and both, I don't think they created a key pass all game, which is what they're there for in a Pochettino system, playing as high as they do. So, irregardless of that, they didn't need to be informed because one man was a man mountain on the day, and that was Moussa Dembele. He was omnipotent in this game. 4 tackles, 6 dribbles, 2 key passes, which is a goal-scoring opportunity, creating a goal-scoring opportunity from deep in the midfield. A 95% pass accuracy. He didn't lose the ball once either, which is particularly impressive considering he had 117 touches, which was a match high. He completed 100 passes as well, which shows you how economic in possession he is as well. I've never seen someone who can just drop the shoulder of his size and sail past a man like that.
I was really surprised. Obviously, we talked about it in Continental Club on Friday, that we thought Juventus might try and replicate Liverpool's brand of football when they just pressured Dembele and pressured him out of the game. But couldn't do it. He was just too good. He was literally too good.
I mean, they also sat off Christian Eriksen, and he was sort of in this quarterback role just after the first 20, 30 minutes, and he started pulling the strings, which was a big mistake. But as you said, did have a lot of injury woes. Sami Khedira had to come off. We're short of options in the midfield.
Yeah, 100%.
Marquisio probably would have made a difference in this game. Now, getting 2 goals back, pretty impressive considering that Juve have the 3rd meanest defence in Europe's top 5 behind Barca and Atletico Madrid, only conceding 0.68 goals per game with a 40-year-old goalkeeper.
It's insane. I actually didn't think he was that great in this game, though.
No, probably should have stopped Eriksen's free kick, but outstanding from Harry Kane's early header. Sort of predicted where it was going to go, kept it out.
He should score.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree. Ultimately, the goals came from Kane and Eriksen, which was no surprise having looked at the numbers. They had 11 shots between them, absolutely peppering that goal towards the end of the game. And it sets up a tasty return leg. Spurs, after a bit of a dodgy start at Wembley, are now gone unbeaten in the last 12 games there. So the momentum is fully with the London side. And just such an impressive display, man. I just
loved it.
One of the best Champions League games I've watched in a long, long time.
Couldn't agree more.
What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on.
The next game we're looking at was the humdinger for Madrid. What happened there, Hamster?
Oh, I missed this because I was whining and dining the misses, but did watch the highlights and there were some contentious moments in there, weren't there?
There were.
Cristiano Ronaldo bagged 2 as Real Madrid edged out, it's got to be said.
Yeah.
Didn't dominate
No.
PSG 3-1 at the Fortress Bernabeu. Now, Los Blancos have now won all 7 of their UCL knockout games at the Bernabeu under Zizou.
Imperious, that is.
Cristiano Ronaldo has now scored. I think he's the first player to do so in his first 7 UCL games of the season.
It's insane. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the records keep tumbling, don't they? Now, his penalty.
Let's talk about his penalty.
Let's talk about his penalty very briefly, because Rio Ferdinand said he used to practice the penalty where he somehow
the chip up
sort of like hits the ground beforehand,
Bubbles.
the ball raises and he sort of volleys it in. It's
very odd.
To say he meant that to me is
if he did mean it, then he is cheating. But because it's kind of a double touch, isn't it? You can't have the double. I think it's complete fluke. He's not meant it at all. I think Rio's chatting rubbish.
Yeah, and he's not been great from the penalty spot recently.
No.
Having missed a couple. What do you guys think? What did he mean it?
No.
Was it a bit of ingenuity or just a complete fluke, as Joseph said? Let us know in the poll just above. But regardless of that, Cristiano Ronaldo turned up in a big way, didn't he? Grabbing his 100th UCL goal for one club in the process.
Oof.
The first player to do this. And he's now scored 10 plus UCL goals in 7 consecutive seasons.
Is outrageous.
Pure, unadulterated filth. And his form continues to improve in general. That is 11 goal contributions in his last 5 games after that sloppy start.
He's coming.
To the start of the season. That's 9 goals and 2 assists. He's now scored 21 goals in his last 12 UCL games.
How does that happen?
Bearing in mind, the 5 that preceded this were at the latter end of the last competition. Yes. So he's scoring against the creme de la creme.
I think in the last 4 knockout ties, his record's outrageous.
Yeah, I think he's got 5 against Bayern, 4 against Atletico, 3 against Juventus, and now 2 against PSG.
That's in the tie overall, by the way, not in a single game, but that's outrageous, isn't it? That is outrageous.
Words escape me. Go on then, Unai Emery.
Oh dear, Unai Emery, where do we start? Obviously, as of yet, he has never got past the round of 16, so his record in the knockouts is poor. And I have to say, I thought his in-game substitution, taking off Cavani and bringing on Meunier at about 65 minutes, not the biggest fan of it. I thought that was the moment that I thought PSG were going to go on and win the game. And I think when he took Cavani off, I thought that door closed.
It's a good observation.
I think Mbappe, when he went out front, struggled quite badly.
Yeah.
And I think Neymar effectively got crowded out of the game. But nevertheless, he completed 13 take-ons in the game. Neymar wasn't a complete passenger. Struggled in and around the area, like I said. Got crowded out a number of times. Didn't really have his shooting boots on. I think he only had 2 attempts. 1 of them was on target. And that was, to their credit, largely down to how well Real Madrid defended. I thought Sergio Ramos was really good in this game.
Yeah, it helps when you've got someone like Sergio Ramos who actively enjoys being hit in the bollocks with shots left, right and centre.
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic, blocking everything. And you have to say, credit to Real Madrid for keeping him out. This is a team that scored 127 goals in their last 39 games. To limit them to just 4 shots on target, I think is really, really impressive. So people criticise Zidane about his tactics often, but I think he kind of got them defensively spot on in this game.
He got his substitutions as well, right? Conversely,
yes,
bringing
100%. On Gareth Bale
willing runners. Yeah.
Gareth Bale really stretched the game, I thought. There was a ball in behind by Gareth Bale that effectively set up one of the goals. I can't remember specifically which one, but what I will say is Rabiot at the end of the game, despite the fact he played well, came out very cutting, didn't he? He said the problem is easy. The problem is that it's easy to score 8 against Dijon. It's in these matches you need to be decisive, and he's 100% right. I'm excited for the return leg though, because I still believe PSG will score 2.
He looks like such a French heartthrob, like a caricature.
Yeah,
just someone who goes around Paris breaking hearts.
I'm excited though. I actually still think PSG can go through in this leg. This tie is nowhere near done.
Like I said on Continental Club, I thought Real Madrid were going to edge this. 2-1. 3-1 might make them a little bit more confident. They might have the momentum now.
A little bit flattering.
Had it been 2-1, I agree with you. I'd still be confident of PSG progressing. But 2-0. Can they keep out Ciron?
Oh, I don't know, but what do you guys think? And don't forget to vote in the poll. He definitely didn't mean it.
Last but not least, we're going to go over to the Estadio do Dragão, Mother of Dragons. What happened?
Oh,
Mother
dear.
of all that is holy and good. What happened?
There were murders in Portugal last night, and they mainly came at that stadium. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. Obviously, Liverpool blew Porto away 5-0. By the way, this is the Porto team that are currently top of Liga NOS. This is a Porto team that spanked Monaco 5-2 at home. They beat Leipzig 3-1 at home, but they had no answer to Liverpool's firepower. This was Liverpool's first knockout game in 9 years. It went pretty well, didn't it? Did go pretty well. They've now scored the most goals in the entire competition with 28, although admittedly they did score 14 in 2 games against Maribor and Spartak Moscow. But most impressively, Karius in goal has actually kept the most clean sheets in the entire competition. We talk about how poor Liverpool are at the back at times. He's got 5 clean sheets in the Champions League already, so hats off to him. In the process of this absolute demolition, they became the first ever English team to score 5 goals away in a Champions League knockout. And they equalled the biggest ever Champions League away knockout win. I think Bayern won 5-0 a while ago. So congratulations to Jurgen Klopp. This performance was utterly, utterly brilliant. But for Porto, they were terrible. God, were they bad. The performance was a disaster. They completely fell apart after the first goal. The goalkeeper had an absolute howitzer for it. It's their heaviest ever home defeat in any European competition, not just the Champions League, talking European Cups and Europa League. It's the first time they've ever conceded more than 3 goals in a European match. And this is a big team, Porto. This, let's get it right, was an absolute demolition job.
But it helps when you've got a front 3 who are running absolute riot, doesn't it? The 3 Stooges. Last night, Liverpool as an attacking force. 6 shots on target, 5 goals. That is pretty clinical, isn't it? Sadio Mane, let's start with him because he was on absolute flameage.
Yeah.
Like Dumbledore's Phoenix, Hawks.
Like my hair.
I believe it's called, or like your hair. Only the 4th Liverpool player to score a Champions League hat-trick, so a big well done to him. His stats read as such. 4 shots, 3 goals, 3 take-ons, 3 tackles, 3 chances created for his teammates too. Woof, is how we describe that in the industry. Moving on to his attacking partner, one of the triumvirate, Mo Salah, the Egyptian god, because he scored his 30th goal in all competitions last night, but he's also contributed to another 8 assists outside of that. He's almost on 40 goal contributions, and it's February.
He took his goal so well. So well.
He's taken something, because he's flying.
How can you allow a player to seal dribble the ball over your head if you're a goalkeeper?
It's like Curlon, rolling back the years.
What's going on?
Never got a game for me on Football Manager. Still bought him every time. Anyway, first player to complete this feat since Suarez got 31, albeit in more time.
Yes.
So we fully expect Salah to surpass
Blitz
this.
him.
In the UCL alone, he has 6 goals in 7 games. So killing it on all fronts is the Egyptian. And last but not least, Bobby Firmino, Bobby Dazzler, links it all together, doesn't he? And he scored. As you know, when one of them scores, normally all 3 of them score. Very generous, aren't they? Givers, not takers. And had a bit of a crazy celebration in the midst of that, didn't he, as well? Anyway, he is equalled Steven Gerrard's record of 7 goals in a single UCL campaign. That's not bad company to keep, is it? It just sort of shows you how they've been lacking, you know, someone to really drive them forward in the Champions League. And now they have 3 players.
It's only the second time they've been in the Champions League in the last 12 years.
Yeah, pathetic. This tie is over, so probably won't be covering them on next week's or the preceding weeks. Let's hope they get someone difficult.
Put the kids out. Okay, end board.
It's probably just, you know.
Why? Just get the end board done.
Oh, just looks ripe. So,
Don't do it like that. You're just going to hear you chomping. It's disgusting, man.
So that was our UCL review for this week, guys. What ties are you looking forward to coming up? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, go and watch Stat Wars from last week or Football Mundial. Joe, what's happening on Football Daily at FDFC?
I'm not sure what's happening on Football Daily today. Probably should know that. But if you haven't already, go and check out the FDFC match against Soccer AM. That is on Football Daily. It's a lot of fun. You eat like a goat, man.